This video is going to go over how to access the online textbook for math, as well as using some of those extra resources, figuring out how to find our record and practice journal homework that we can print off at home if we forgot it at school, as well as extra practice problems and quizzes that we can take online. So the first thing you got to do is on that step-by-step sheet that I sent out earlier in the year, it has a website that we have to go to, and I believe it's tiny.cc/Limburg Math. And then when you type that in, it should take you to this screen. When you click on the username, it prompts you what your student username would be. And on that white sheet of paper, it says that it's going to be 24. So the year you graduate, 24, your first name, last name. And then your password is going to be your 10-digit state ID. So go ahead and type that in and then press log in. Once you've logged in, you should have just one application here. And when you click on Big Ideas Learning, it should take you to this page here with a lot of different tiles. Now, if you are Math 6, it should say green up here next to resources. If you are Math 7, it should say red. Even though they are different textbooks, how to access certain things in the textbook are exactly the same. So it doesn't really matter which book that we're using. In order to actually get to the online book, there are a lot of other resources here, but we would click the Student Dynamic eBook, and that's going to open up a new tab for us. And there should be the textbook that you are using in class. So again, Math 6 is green here. Math 7 is going to be a red book. So you should only have one book checked out to you or assigned to you. So go ahead and click that book, and that's going to make it a digital view of the textbook. Okay, and I'm going to start over. So most of the time, it's going to start where you can actually see the cover. Since we were using this book earlier, or I was using this book earlier, I was on a different page. The best way to get to the section or chapter that you want, if you press this contents piece right here, it's going to give you all the different chapters that are in your textbook. So let's say we were working on Chapter 2, Fractions and Decimals. We're going to hit this little plus sign right here. And there's a little drop-down menu, and that's every section in that chapter. So let's say that we were talking about dividing fractions. So I'd click on section 2.2, dividing fractions, and it's going to take us to the beginning of that section. Now, right here, this is going to be where you're able to access homework when it is assigned from the Record and Practice Journal. If it's other worksheets, we won't be able to access them off the online book. But if we do use our Record and Practice Journal homework, this is where you can access another copy. So you'd go to whatever section that you were learning that day. Here, we're saying it was 2.2 dividing fractions. And if you look right underneath in the top left-hand corner right there, there is a little button or a little red book that says Record and Practice Journal. If you were to click that, it should open you up to this right here. Again, this is not the homework. It actually matches this same beginning section on the online textbook. So they're the little activities that we sometimes use, but this wouldn't be the actual homework assignment. We would have to scroll all the way down to where it says 2.2 practice. So we're looking for those practice worksheets. They will always be named on the homework hotline, like what section, what worksheet we're doing. So if you're not sure, you can always look there. But you can print this off. If you don't have a printer, if your printer's not working, you can just look off of this and then write your answers on a separate sheet of paper to turn in for class. So I'm going to go ahead and X out of that tab, go back to our online book. So that's the way we would access our homework. I'm actually going to go back to contents and chapter 2. I'm going to hit that plus button again and see all these different sections. I want to show you guys the quizzes. So every chapter has 2 quizzes. I clicked the first section here, and they have a bunch of extra practice problems, which are great if you want to study for your test or when you are studying for your test or quiz and you want to find some extra practice problems. The quizzes are great here online. In the top right-hand corner where it says check it out, progress check right here, if you click on that, it takes you to another screen. But it's actually that exact same quiz that we were just looking at, except now they've made it multiple choice and you actually can go through and answer these questions. So a few of them are multiple choice. And then if we go to the bottom, sometimes there are some free response here. These actually are all multiple choice. But once you are done with that test, you would click check your work. Here it gives me a little bit of a warning since I didn't answer some of the questions. But when we're done, we'd hit OK. And at the very top, it gives us our score. And then if you go through, it writes what, or it shows what you answered and then actually gives you the correct answer. So you're able to tell if you're understanding the material or not. This is a really good studying tool. So I'm going to go ahead and X out of that tab as well. Go back to this. These left and right arrows here are actually like how you digitally turn pages. So I'm going to go backwards just a little bit. And I'm going to go to where I see these exercises. So this is towards the end of section 2.3. So these are just, again, more practice problems. If we assign online homework, this would be the problems that we were talking about. But if we look, we zoom up just a little bit so I can show you guys. Right next to that 2.3, it says this little check mark and then selected answers. If you click on that, it actually takes you again to another tab, but it gives you the answers to the odd numbered problems in your textbook. So if you are really needing some extra practice on a specific topic, like here 2.3 was dividing mixed numbers, you can do those odd numbered problems and then check to see that you're still getting the correct answers. Because it is sometimes difficult to be studying for math and doing all these practice problems, but not really sure if you're getting the correct answer. So here you can do the odd numbered problems and check your work. Another really great thing is if you struggled a little bit or you thought you understood the lesson and then you go home, you're struggling a little bit on your homework, or maybe you're absent because you're sick or you're out of town, and you want to try and keep up with your homework. And we just went over a 2.3 lesson. There are some examples in our book. There's always 4. So 2 on one page, and then if we click forward, 2 on the next page. And those are great to kind of read through. But if you're struggling even with that, because I know sometimes it's hard to just read a math problem and understand it, they have these example little red arrow or little red circles with a white arrow in it, like right next to the word example. If you click those, it actually will open another little video here. So kind of like what I'm doing right now, they actually have pre-made videos. So these, again, people are walking through these. They actually ink on the board just like I do for review questions. So it walks you through step by step. You need a little bit extra help. So again, if you're struggling with a topic, that's a really good thing to be using and looking up. And there's always going to be 4 of those videos in every section that we're learning. So there are a lot of really good resources on the online textbook. There's definitely a lot more than what I've shown you, but those are definitely some highlights. You can bookmark certain pages that you think are going to be really helpful at the end, or like later on if you want to refer back to. You can highlight, you can make notes on your online textbook. I believe there's actually an app as well that you can download onto another device if you want to use that as well. But I just wanted to make sure we kind of walked through some of these key resources, and hopefully this is helpful.